Hi. Last year, when the lockdown happened, there was a lot of uncertainty among the business community, whether it is sales leaders or the sales executives, even the business owners, and the customers were not very clear about how the outlook is going to happen. In fact, most of the organizations and executives were trying their level best to protect their business, manage their business, and it was very good effort by a lot of people. I would say it's about 17 months now after the lockdown. Now there are a lot of trends which are emerging very clearly. We have seen the reports. We have also studied some of the business articles and the survey reports, and it gives an indication about what is going to happen in the future. This is Krishna here. I'm a sales trainer, partner and a coach at Growth Aspire. In fact, I've lost account about how many virtual meetings that we did with the prospect and the customer in the last 17 months. We have also lost account about how many training sessions that we did to help the salespeople to adapt to the remote selling skills. In fact, we have also lost account about how many meetings I have attended when I was invited to attend a webinar or a meeting there. But definitely, one thing I've got a very clear count. We have only met 3 customers in the physical meetings in 17 months. We have only had 3 classroom training in the 17 months. Now, what it means is that whatever we have read the reports and what we have experienced in the last 17 months, there is a clear-cut indication on this. In this video, I'm going to share with you what is the trend and what are the issues which are there and how do we adapt to this situation to become successful month after month, year after year. Now, let's look at the trend first. The first trend is that the virtual selling is going to stay here. And I'm sure that many more people are adapting to this virtual selling. And the second trend which I see is that both the customers and the sellers are comfortable with this wonderful setup. In fact, I would say the customers are more comfortable than the sellers is what I see. And the third thing which I see is that most of the sales organizations and the sales executives have adopted to this hybrid model of selling. That means a lot more on the virtual selling and a little bit of face-to-face selling. Both should work. That's the hybrid model we are talking about. And the fourth one, I see that all this is evolving and this evolution is only going forward. I don't think that any time in the future it is going to come back to the pre-COVID levels of face-to-face meeting. Now, if you look at it in this way, any business to become successful, there are only 3 things that business has to do. And the sales executive has to concentrate or the business leaders has to concentrate. Those 3 things are what we talk about are the pipeline creation, pipeline conversion, and retaining of existing customer. You look at it anywhere, these 3 are the most important for any business to become successful. Now, when I say about pipeline creation is about how do you generate the leads, how do you generate the inquiry, how do you attract the customer to call you back. That's about pipeline creation. Pipeline creation. And when it comes to pipeline conversion, how do you understand what are the customer problem? How do you make a wonderful presentation? And how do you build your rapport building or the credibility with your customer? And looking at various alternatives to do this business. And now when you look at the retaining of the customer, is that they have given you business. But how do you engage with them? How do you add value to them is what we are looking at it. Let's go one by one in detail. What is the trend and what is that you can do about it? The first one is about the pipeline creation. I'm sure you would agree with me that the digital marketing has evolved over a period of time in pipeline creation. There are so many things that they have done. But what is the trend which is emerging is that each sales representative, executive is focused about using social media to build network with people. And when I talk about B2B business, it is more so by using LinkedIn. When you say about LinkedIn, there are some things about understanding who is our customer, and then building up your, optimizing your profile, and how do you search the customers in LinkedIn, and of course, what is the messaging system that you do on this. That's about LinkedIn. But then there is also one more thing which we see very promising, is that the people started using email to communicate the message or to generate the leads. They're also more and more comfortable with the WhatsApp or the messaging system to connect to people on that. But however, there is a lot more improvement which is required there. But however, you will also see that when you use email or the messaging system, that emotion that you want to connect with the people is not so much there. What we thought some time back, a telephone skill, is not all that important. The trend is that it has come back again. In fact, telephone is used, your voice is used to connect to people, to build that trust with the people. And then the fourth thing is about people are using video to demonstrate their product. They are putting up videos in the social media or on the messaging WhatsApp or something to demonstrate their product and generate some interest there. In fact, the best part is that people have used the webinar to generate more and more leads. And these webinars people have learned in a very nice way. And that's a good trend, I would say. All these trends indicate one thing, that there is a marketing team which does generate inquiry from the organization, but the salespeople are becoming a micro marketer to build their own network and to build their own credibility and trust with the customer, and technology definitely is helping in this aspect. That's the trend on the pipeline creation. And when it comes to pipeline conversion, there is a best thing. I would say there are four things which you say. In that four things, there are sub things. First one is about the process. Most of the salespeople used to say that the buyers first is predominant, but now it has become mandatory to think on the buyers first. But the small process change which has happened is that all salespeople are now understanding where is the customer in the buying journey, and then decide upon what is the strategy for each of these customers, because they don't want to waste their time, effort to understand the customer, and that's how they are able to do buyers first as the focus there. Second one is about knowledge. I always used to say that the salespeople should develop knowledge, and what is not required you should forget, what is required you should keep developing it. It's so nice to see that people are now understanding more about the market, more about their industry, more about their product, competitor, and this is very, very good sign. In fact, to understand the market and the industry, it is good sign that the salespeople have adopted Google Alerts or the Feedly, and it's so nice to see that people are attending the webinars and the knowledge session which is conducted by the experts in this field. Because no customer expects you to become only information provider, they want you to become an insight provider. And how do you get insight is only when you have a good knowledge with you on that. When it comes to skill, there is a preparation was very, very important earlier, and it is going to be important now. But what's the trend which is there? No customer is going to give you more time today. Everybody is fixing their time for half an hour, 45 minutes, or 1 hour. And there are so many situations where we have seen that the people restricted to be 1 hour time. So what is required for the salesperson is to prepare very well about the agenda for the meeting. And what is the industry expertise that you bring in? They're looking at it as you as somebody who is an industry expert or a subject matter expert. And one of the valid points that you're going to bring it into the table is that the preparation that they expect. And I've seen today that earlier meeting 5 people in an organization was very, very challenging. But I see now in most of the meeting, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people are attending the meeting. And it's easy for us to do that wonderful interaction with them. So it requires a good amount of preparation there. Second one in the skill is about the rapport building. Earlier we used to talk so much about rapport building, but along with the rapport building, what is important for salespeople is to build a skill of how do you build credibility establishment when you meet first time with the customer. What does that mean? How genuine you are coming across, how trustworthy you are coming across in your first interaction is more important than just a rapport building with the customer. It is about credibility establishment. One more thing in the skill is about asking question, which was very, very important throughout. I think the fundamental of sales lies in the asking question. But today the trend is about not only what question that you ask, but what is the context that you ask is very important. What's the objective of asking question? Is it just to get a factual information? No, that's not the point. I think how empathetic you are to the customer situation, how well you are able to ask question to understand and interpret what is the customer going through, what's his story, what is the challenges that he has got. In other words, I would say what is the goal and aspirations that he has got. And the only objective is how you can help the customer to solve his problem or achieve his goal and aspiration there. And that's why asking question in the right context is important. Now, next one is about presentation. I completely understand that earlier presentation means what is the content that you put, what kind of the visuals that you create, what kind of the PPTs that you create. I think that is a little outdated today. It is not the PowerPoint that they are looking at it. I think when you make a presentation, are you genuinely trying to help the customer to solve his problem? What is the innovative solution that you're bringing him to his table? And how trustworthy, how he can believe your solution. That is what he is looking at it. In fact, I say it is no longer a PowerPoint. He is looking at what is the power which you have got to solve. Are you making that point very clear in your communication? And of course, when it comes to objection handling, you need to show concern. All that is there. But what the customer is looking is that are you coming out with alternative solutions to look at it and see how it can add value to the customer? Now that's the trend which is there. Now when it comes to attitude, earlier if somebody asked me what are the kind of salespeople you want to select, I would have said 2 years back, 5 years back, or 10 years back, I would have said people should have a grit, people should have a determination, people should have perseverance, people should work very hard, people should be enthusiastic. All this is good, no doubt about it. But I think what is required today is about the attitude is how helpful you are to the customer, how much empathy you are showing. Are you a good listener to understand? Are you coming across as genuine? Are you going with the attitude of abundance to go beyond your limits to help the customer to become successful on that? And that's the trend they're looking at it. In fact, they are not looking for somebody, a salesperson, who puts a pressure on them to close the deal. Absolutely, we all know customer will buy only when he decides to buy. But what is required is how much of patience that you demonstrate. It's not looking at the short term, but it's looking at the long term association is what they are seeing as a trend. Then, in nutshell, I would say you need not have to be a seller no longer. You need to be a real solver of his problem or help him to achieve his goals and aspiration there. When it comes to retaining of the customers, existing customer, there are three things. He was a customer earlier and he will remain to be a customer if you engage with them in a meaningful conversation with them. In fact, don't come across as a salesperson. You must come across as somebody who is a consultant, who actually trying to understand and help the customer. Go one step beyond to help his problem. And the third thing is you must add value in every communication that you do. What is the meaning of value? All that you have to do is always think about how you can help the customer to succeed. That's the whole attitude that you should have. That's the trend that people are looking at it. I'm sure in this video I covered what is the trend, and we also covered the pipeline creation, pipeline conversion, and the retaining of the existing customer. In fact, in last 17 months, we trained so many people to adopt this technology of using LinkedIn or other mediums to do that. And we also help develop their remote selling skills and also manage some existing customers. I'm sure a lot of people have learned and you're also learning. But all that you have to do is to today sit at one place and write down what are the process, knowledge, skill and attitude which is required for your business in the future, and do a little bit of gap analysis and say where are you currently and what is the areas that you want to develop, and put a developmental plan for that and work towards improving those skills. And I'm sure you will become successful, and I'm sure you will do very well in the coming months as well. But however, if you require some more information, you are always welcome to reach out to us. This is Krishna here, once again a sales trainer, partner and a coach at Growth Aspire, and my email ID is krishnag@growthaspire.com. You can always reach us and we are there to help you out on that. Thank you so much for watching this video. All the best to you.